Hello, Dr. Al here. It's July 27th, 2018, in the afternoon after a chaotic day on Wall Street. It was not a surprise to me or my clients or even to the public who were looking for my chaos clinic today, which is free on Fridays. Last night, Thursday night, I sent out a weekly email and I made a special note that I was not going to be trying to call the trades today, but I put the meat of my message in my weekly email. And that email said, this week I took a look at the lunar eclipse, which comes tomorrow. The January high was 2 days before lunar eclipse. Prices started down, then dropped sharply after the eclipse. Tomorrow's eclipse is half a year later, 6 months. That's a common cycle. The most significant thing about tomorrow's eclipse is that it is conjoined by Mars. The Mars cycle is harmonic. It is exactly 473-day eclipse cycles. The onset of chaos comes when cycles harmonize, and it's brought about by something called frequency doubling. But here we had the opportunity for frequency doubling. This eclipse has the potential to double, then double frequencies again. Mars is already having an impact. Yesterday's high and today's lower high were set by a Mars electric field flux line. So I had scientific evidence that Mars was having an effect on the market from Wednesday and Thursday. Now, on a daily chart, there are 7 moves of a chaos clamshell up from the 4 to 18 low. If you've looked at my moneytide.com website, you may have learned, if you just look at my courses, there's a sample course that tells you about the chaos clamshell and its 7 moves. So there are clear 7 moves up from 4 to low. And on a weekly chart, this fractal is the blade of a honula can opener, where a long rally forms the handle, followed by a drop and a rally to form the blade. This pattern is a setup for a decline. Tomorrow's eclipse is a total lunar eclipse, just like the one in January. Further, it's the longest duration eclipse of the century. It squares the S&P natal sun as well. So my thinking there was that this eclipse has the potential of having a dramatic impact not only on markets, but on things such as war, since Mars is involved. So let's take a look at what happened today. Today, this is chart off of my daytradingforecast.com website, which is open to the public on Fridays, even if I'm not making comments in Chaos Clinic. On our hotline, we use some exponential moving averages and trade times found from the moontide equation to pick some trade times, and we try to use very simple rules. Basically, this is a 110-minute exponential moving average. This is a 20. When they cross or converge and then separate, those are the trade signals. So early today, I noticed the bars turned color when the 20 crossed the 110 and stayed that until late in the day. I personally took this entry here for other reasons. A day trader could have taken this sell here, maybe about a 42. Could have taken the sell here, maybe about 28.32. If doing nothing more but holding to the close, that's about 32, about 24 points. Not a bad day. Or just taking one swing down here, starts coming up, covered there for even more. But at any rate, today was chaotic. The moon tides had a big drop here. Usually pretty flat before the normal session opens. Last night was unusually flat. But once the market opened, decisions had been made to sell. The green tide here is staying down until about 11:20 or so. But right at that point, the market inverted and followed the red tide down into this region. So the moon tides did forecast a possible big swing. Now, as this developed, I monitored the chat room. I was not planning to say anything because I was focusing on making my own trades. But a couple of newbies came in and said, gee, what's going on? And I told them I wasn't doing a chaos clinic, but I posted the eclipse comments. So in case they didn't see the email, they could read them. Then I explained what they need to do. MH, so much material, very overwhelming. Well, the reason it's overwhelming is that the energy fields that are affecting the S&P are very complex. I'm sorry they're complex. They are difficult to figure out, but I've made some good progress in doing that. But I've tried to simplify it, so all you have to do is look at the trade times, set up a chart with some XMAs, and follow some entry, stop, and target rules. And I tell them to set up your trade chart to replicate the one on the S&P page. Then I get a question about some sounds when charts are made. I'm not sure what that was. Then later on, I say the hotline time, the first one near 11:20, be a nice gain down now. Interesting fact I pointed out Thursday morning, just before I woke, I'd been looking at the Mars and the eclipse stuff. Apparently my subconscious was working on the problem, and I had a dream that the market would drop 190 points. While I was writing that email, the evening news was on, and the newscasters were talking about Mars. This is two examples of how when you're working on a problem, you get unconscious help from the universe. So we'll see if we go down 190 points from where my dream was. But then the rest of the day probably down. It's amazing you're able to predict a temporary bottom at 2808 using the secret chart. You are amazing. Thank you for all you do. And all I could say is I just try to understand how things work. I do point out that the low was at 1300. That's 1 o'clock Eastern time, solar noon because of daylight time. That's where the rotating exchange passed the eclipse. And I believe that was the low of the day. And I point out that if you look at my day trading forecast site and dig through all the complexity, you find a couple of cycles that I found a red swan and green swan. On big days, a down day will be a red swan, up day will be a green swan. And I'll show you a little bit more about that. But those are the comments I made today in real time. The that comment about my secret chart, this is on the secret page of Day Trading Forecast. This is ESNet SRT 72. Vertical line at 9 o'clock really set off the move. And the market started down. Notice this yellow line. These come in pairs. Yellow start, one yellow down, two yellows down, three yellows down, four yellows down. That's just about a perfect harmonic of 36 points, one half of the wheel of 72, which is driven by the moon. So what was amazing was how close that came to 2808. So these are instrumentation charts, and these are just vibration levels that I found. I'm doing lots of research. Okay, I did point out that this was a red swan move. This is off of my Day Trading Forecast site. This red line is a red swan, and you can see that we pretty near came down it like gangbusters. These are cycles. They don't always catch. Like here's a green swan cutting through. They're sort of like strong winds. But if the sails on the boat are set right, they catch. They're good guidance as to how the energy is going to flow. Now, I did point out that Mars was already showing up. This is a version chart, which is on the secrets page on my website. This is the Mars electric field flux line. Late in the day, this is where Trump announced he was making progress with the Eurozone. This is the drop right after the close due to the Facebook news. And then here's kind of a choppy day. Now, yesterday we came right up here and hit that Mars flux line again, and a little bit down this little red swan line. So I'm actually managed, I point out in the comments that I managed to sell up here at 47.83 on multiple contracts. I watched yesterday. I put my stop right above yesterday's high. Unfortunately, a little blip up right in here. This morning I got stopped out, so I didn't make much. I made 0.83 points, but I didn't lose any. So I had a fresh mind ready today to resell, hoping that if we went down this red line would be in effect, and it was. So my Daniel chart is a research tool. Sometimes I can figure out where the trades are on it. Now my main bread and butter are longer term charts. My certified chaos traders, that's those students who have taken all four of my main courses. They seem to love my fractal of pi, electronic overlay, and a couple of them have even, got to go back here, have even created their own versions programmatically. But what I was saying in the overnight email is right here. Starting down here in 4-2, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 moves in a chaos clamshell. This is the previous lunar eclipse. And I did do a video saying that we could have a big break there. We got it. But now we've come up, and we basically have come up to retest that area on another lunar eclipse. So lunar eclipse to lunar eclipse. No guarantee that we're going to repeat this. It may be worse or better. but there's good evidence that trying to go up is in trouble. The thing that's important to me is the psychological shift when all of the mutual fund managers see one of their darling stocks, Facebook, drop 20+%. Today, Twitter got hit. So it seems to me that the gild is off the lily of the social media stocks, and that's going to affect the market. The concern, of course, will be profits and profitability. Add in a little bit of chaos of trade wars, and we may be in for an interesting time following this eclipse. Now, I said on a weekly chart that there was a can opener pattern. And I've kind of drawn the can opener here. We come up, come down, and kind of hook up. I call that the Honula can opener. I discovered it many years ago on smaller time scales. But when you see this, this is a weekly chart starting back in January 2016. Here's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Trump got elected. Boom, boom, boom. Move 5, a 6, and 7 maybe. Any way I cut it, this now looks like a double top on a weekly chart. So we'll see what's going to happen here. But my concern is that the fun has only begun. Of course, you have to watch your entry points, watch your stops, and study, 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 work, work, work. And with a little bit of luck, you can cash in on chaos. If you want to learn more, go to moneytide.com and take my trading courses. 4 courses: Cash In on Chaos, Fractal of Pi, Chaos Trading Made Easy, and Face of God course. And those will give you the tools to do some of the analysis I do. So that's it for this Friday. Time to go camping to the high country. Got a good trade in, cashed in on chaos. Can't do more than that except to say thank you to the great engineer for creating a system that, while difficult, is comprehensible. Thank you and have a good weekend.